All right, welcome back to the Local 636 podcast. Today, joining me for the second time, our first two-time guest. First episode was called A Transplant Love Story. Second episode is called what? What are we going to call it?
I don't know.
Second episode is with Jeff Lage, and we're going to call it something. Well, the title will come up here organically somehow.
Yeah, I believe so.
But Jeff was a big supporter of 636 Day, our second ever 636 Day, and wanted to bring Jeff back on to kind of update us on what's going on with the Airbnbs, the rentals in St. Charles, what he's doing on Main Street. Lots of good stuff, so you don't want to miss this. But welcome in, Jeff.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. I can't believe you guys have really improved this, like big time. Like you've really taken this.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
like we're in Ed's living room, but we're not in Ed's living room.
Yeah,
like,
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool, huh?
It's really cool.
It's comfy.
It is.
It's to reveal your deepest, darkest secrets. When you're comfortable, you
get that vulnerability out.
Yeah, you're going to be a lot more likely to just kind of spill the beans on everything that's going on.
All right, I'll hold those secrets.
Let's talk about Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Really polarizing topic right now. I think all over, but especially in St. Charles City.
Yeah.
You've got kind of I think there's probably three different groups of people. There's the people that are probably skew older that absolutely don't want them. They're the ruin of society. They're everything that's wrong with America and St. Charles right now. You've kind of got the people in the middle who are like, whatever. And then you've got the people that are probably encouraging them and want them and understand what it can do for business. Of course, there's, two sides to everything. Give us an update on what the rules are with Airbnb and how that has kind of changed over the years.
Yeah. So, I'd opened our first one in October of 2019, and that was right there at 6th and Clark. And it went really well. I actually didn't know we had this level of tourism. Started opening more and more.
Yeah.
And
so did you opened it just because you had this building and this opportunity? And
it was actually in the middle of a 5-unit building, and it was a 1-bed like studio, and it was like 400 square feet. Like no one would ever live here full time.
Yeah.
So spent some money on Amazon, filled it up, booked it for $100 a night. It booked like every night.
And then you start to see that it's mostly people from out of town coming to visit Main Street.
It was Lindenwood parents. It was moms over the age of 50 coming to have a girls' weekend to Main Street, and they clean the place better than we do. You had a lot of really good guests.
Yeah.
We had contractors coming in town. They work for 30 days, things like that. So we'd done the first one. I ended up doing some more because it was really successful.
And when you bought that and converted it, no regulations, just kind of...
No regulations. And this was a total drug den when I bought it. It was roach infested. It was a disgusting property.
Was it a drug den?
Oh, for sure. There was needles in the parking lot. It was bed bugs throughout the building. Like it was a really bad building. And it was sitting for a long time. So we bought it and converted it into a 5-unit building. It was pretty much that already, but long term. And so there were no restrictions. Just go do it. And so about a year into that, COVID hit. Whenever we'd have to do an occupancy inspection, some of the city staff had communicated that, hey, you need to also get a permit for short-term rental. I was like, oh, I didn't know you guys did that. That's fine. And they had a little admin level permit, but it wasn't really a whole.
Yeah, just check a couple boxes and you're approved.
Exactly. Yeah. But they wanted to know what you were doing with the space. That was kind of it. And then I think it was somewhere in 2022, some of the members of city council approached city staff and, hey, how can we do some level of restriction? These are overtaking the neighborhoods. And at that point, we probably had a dozen in St. Charles, a couple of them in the residential. And I had started buying some stuff on commercial Main Street, and we had a few on there too. And so whenever that started to come about, it took some time, of course. And so today what they have in restrictions are, they've had various levels of restrictions. Yeah. Initially, it was we could have up to, I think it was 150 total units. They base that on total residential in the city. In the city. Understand that most of those are on wards 1 and 2. So they're predominantly wards 1 and 2. Ward 6 doesn't really have many, or any.
Wards 1 and 2 is kind of like the Main Street, the downtown area of St. Charles.
Exactly. So Frenchtown through South Main.
Yeah.
And so they're really overtaking that. A lot of that tourism goes to Main Street. That's kind of the densely populated area. So the residences in those neighborhoods were feeling the effect. And so city council came together. They formed some rules with it. I got to have some feedback on that. A lot of good council members, just having an open dialogue about it, and just shared what other cities are doing. there's a million different ways that this has been done.
Sure.
So they created requirements for noise monitors. They created a buffer so that you didn't have them too densely populated. So if a Airbnb already existed in a neighborhood, they didn't want another one right next door. So I think it was a 500-foot buffer. And then they had a total cap in how many could exist, which I think was 150. And so it was like that for 6 months, 9 months, whatever. And then recently they put a moratorium in, so they've got no more residentials allowed.
Now, that doesn't restrict anything in a commercial area, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So a commercial area would be anything on Main Street,
Yes.
anything on 2nd that's mixed use.
Yeah, and there's a few residential properties that will qualify because they might be in the CBD or all the layering of districts of it. It's even though I do this full time, I still don't really know.
Yeah.
I have to check with city staff to find out. Like if
CBD
something
is
works.
Central Business District,
Yes.
by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so
I know there's another CBD acronym, so
Yeah.
people would be like, what
Yeah.
does that have to do with anything?
yeah,
So, like the houses on 2nd Street could be in that
they
in
could
that
be
Central Business
Exactly.
District, and therefore not subject to the rules of a residential home.
because they're a commercial zone property,
Which
which
is
maybe
why-
a hair salon at one point. You don't mind if it becomes a short-term rental.
Right. So we were talking before the camera started rolling about the street that I lived on and still have a lot of friends on, which is North 3rd. And I think within a 2-block span between short-term and long-term, there's 1, 2. This is interesting content, right? Just me counting. 1. I need to be like the count. 1.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha. I think there's like 5 or 6
Yeah,
on the same side of the street within like 2 blocks.
yeah.
Right. Now, some of those are long-term.
Yeah.
But a couple of those are short term. But that doesn't apply because it's in that business district.
Yeah.
It's like mixed use.
Yeah, and so there's varying degrees, and so the city sort of has this like redraw of it, and so there's areas where you can do it, there's areas where you can't, and so they've attempted to put some level of restriction to it. I still believe that the best solution to all things with things like this is you can do it. It's pro-business, tax it. The county has a tax, and we also, Airbnb and short-term rental guests contribute a sales tax. But you don't want this to overtake a neighborhood either. I agree. But you could contribute a taxation to this, and guests and hosts would likely contribute that to stay in the area.
The argument for it is that there's a tax, but also those people coming in are going to go out to eat probably every night.
Yep.
They're going to go to seek out entertainment. They're going to pay for things, whereas a normal household is going to go out to eat, but they're going to eat at home the majority of the time. So if that's filled up, 7 nights a week, probably 6 or 7 of those people are going out, spending money on Main Street, spending money in Frenchtown, going to streets of St. Charles.
The economics are loud.
Sure.
We bought a building, 701 South Main. It's the Wine Cafe in October Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And after we bought the building, upstairs, I bought it from an owner-occupant upstairs. And then he moves out. We made it Airbnb or short-term rental. Next door, she moves out. We make that short-term rental. And both the tenants downstairs couldn't be happier because every other guest basically walks into their shops,
Right.
spends money.
Of course.
They're paying sales tax while they're here. They're paying the county tax while they're here. They're buying things on the street, and the upstairs tenants never did. It's good to have this, and the economics are strong. If you stayed in a place above a wine cafe, you're probably going to check it out sometime while you're there.
Shout out Tia and Terry.
Terrence.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Good people.
They're awesome. I think they're batting 1,000 on Google reviews still.
Yeah.
So they've got a great operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if it's just someone that lives there, yeah, again, I mean, they're not going to patronize that.
Yeah.
Maybe once a month or something, but and that's different because it is Main Street. It's not really in a residential area, but
Correct.
the people making noise are the ones that have them in the residential area. Do you know what the rules and laws are in the rest of St. Charles County? Do they not have the same issues? Obviously, Main Street, Frenchtown, much more commercialized, much more tourists, so a lot more potential. Plus, just the style of the building, right? Where
Correct.
there's a lot of retail on top, on bottom, and then residential on top. So it makes it prone to turning it into a short-term rental.
Absolutely. And I don't think that there are any restrictions throughout the remainder of the county, but I do know about the tax. So there's 5% tax throughout the county for any stay. That's under 28 days, I think.
Okay, so there's a different tax, and that's paid by.
And so if Airbnb remits on your behalf. So as a host, if you came and stayed, it was $1,000, then $50 of that will go remitted to the Missouri Department of Revenue to then be issued to the
Okay,
county.
so it's not on your property tax or anything.
No.
It's in the tax they pay to stay.
And so that it's contributing to the central fund for the
So 5% of every stay under
Every
28
single
days.
stay. Yeah.
So if you have 4 stays in a month, 5% of each one of those total bills.
Yeah, it's pretty significant actually.
Yeah, it is.
And then the city also gets a 1% tourism tax as well.
Off of that Airbnb spend.
Yep.
We keep saying Airbnb, and you corrected it.
Well,
It's
Airbnb
kind of the
is
Xerox and Kleenex of the industry,
they are,
right?
yeah, they're the brand, but
Yeah.
Vrbo, Expedia, our direct
Expedia's
booking
in the
website.
game.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Booking.com. There's 23 sites that we syndicate.
Booking.com?
Booking.com is the biggest one in
Booking.
the.
Yeah. That's clever.
Yes, it
It
is.
doesn't really make any sense, but it's
Yeah.
a very clever advertising
Yeah,
campaign.
and I think they're still the biggest in the world.
Really?
I think they're bigger than. I'm not sure
For short-term rental?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So STR, short-term rental, is the preferred nomenclature.
Yeah, just
But-
because Airbnb isn't everybody.
Correct.
And not every host even broadcasts Airbnb.
Yeah.
So
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about you being on those sites. But part of your, I guess, mission at 636 Day and reason for sponsorship and what we wanted to talk about on here is that they take a pretty big cut.
they do.
Of what?
Yeah, Airbnb is 14% of every stay. So the county's getting 5%. Airbnb's getting 14%.
Yeah.
Now they have marketing and they support. They have
The software,
vetting process.
search
Yeah,
engine optimization.
absolutely.
Sure.
And
You're paying for a service.
you are, but they're 14%. No one else is more than 5%.
Oh, wow.
They're significant, and they do have the most American users. So a lot of Americans use it. But as you go beyond America, you go to other countries, there's a lot of usage that's other.
Well, and we're
sites.
way behind on this stuff, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
in Europe, this is just the way of life.
Yeah.
I would imagine they've been doing this for as long
Oh,
as apartments have been around,
Absolutely.
right? They're much more traveled.
Yeah.
You know.
What's the word? Hostel?
Yeah,
they
like a
used to use?
hostel. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of that. And that's
Yeah.
existed forever.
Yeah. We're just now kind of adopting that lifestyle of being able to travel around and stuff. So, but I wanted to talk about your website.
Yeah.
And the reason to go on there, not only for you, obviously, just pull the curtain back. You obviously make more money on that.
Absolutely.
But if I'm understanding correctly, the person staying can stay for a little bit less because they're not going through that Airbnb site.
So our website is www.staylage.com. And from there, you can see not only our local listings, but we're in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Las Vegas, and Kansas City, and we're in other markets too. And we are growing that every day. We'll be opening in Big Bear, California soon. And so a local guest could, in theory, go on vacation, hopefully anywhere on our website. And so that 14% for Airbnb, for example, we actually include that as a markup. So whenever you see our pricing, we actually build that into the pricing.
Yeah.
So what we tell all of our existing guests or anyone who will listen, if you go and book directly on our site, you will see a 14% drop because
That's significant.
it is. Yeah. So if you're booking a $1,000 stay, it's $140 off that stay.
Yeah.
So if you looked at our site paralleled next to Airbnb or Vrbo or anywhere else, you'll see that the same booking is significantly cheaper. This is actually really common in vacation areas.
I was going to ask how many people did that, or
Yeah, I don't think most people are aware that you can do this. But if you go to a local area, you want to go to Florida on a vacation and you're going to book a place, a lot of people default to Airbnb or Vrbo.
Sure.
But some of the best companies out there that are doing short-term rental management are local, and they don't even broadcast those channels. And you can get much better pricing.
Yeah, or like you said, you can just build it in and put it on both, but you have some mechanisms that when the guest comes in to try to drive to your website.
Yeah, I mean, that's our goal, right? I mean, we're not going to get in the way of what Airbnb brought us. I mean, thank you for giving us a guest. But we would like to give you a great experience, and hopefully, if we are successful, you'd want to stay with us again. So we provide a discount code to try us again at the post checkout. And our goal is that you will, if you come back, book direct.
Do you have any metrics on return guests and what? So I want to know that, and I want to know, of those return guests, are they going through your website instead of the big aggregator websites the next time?
So 3.2% of our bookings in this last month were returning bookings.
Okay.
Of that 3.2%, 1.7 did our website. So 1.5 still stick with what they know.
Sure.
So,
and that's just creature of habit stuff, and it sometimes feels a little weird going to maybe a website that you're not familiar with.
Or maybe they don't feel like they can trust it, or what if something, I'm trusting my payment information with someone, or who knows,
Right.
whatever the reason might be. So,
And is making the website, I mean, it's just as easy as making a website and listing your photos on there, right? And,
Absolutely.
and having the mechanism to take payment and
Yeah, and it
book
all supports through the same software for us. So we use one centralized software for everything. That's our operations, and that broadcasts all these channels. So it's the same thing going to a website.
Now, how would someone? I mean, you don't really advertise that. There's not really a way to advertise that to new people, right? You can kind of only advertise that to
Well, it's doing things like this, supporting
yeah.
a 636 show, throwing up a billboard, and maybe you get the word of mouth out there that people might know.
Yeah.
Hey, check it out. That's cool. Our job is I've got to hit 80% occupancy always. Like that's kind of my drive. And so we expect that and we do that, but I want to have less the Airbnb Vrbo bookings. And the reason for that is the margin is a lot different. So yeah, pulling the curtain back, that's the goal, is that I'd love to fill our calendar with less of the third party channels.
Yeah.
So,
any metrics on where people are coming from?
yeah, so it's actually most of our guests are within a 3-hour radius. So a lot of Illinois, but it's like a 3-hour drive. That's majority of it. And then as you layer out, it gets further and further, more and more.
I think that's pretty consistent. If you talked with like the CVB, which is the Convention and Visitors Bureau, tourism, I think that's pretty consistent with what they see to Main Street. I think it's probably regional travel, right?
Yeah.
Missouri, Kansas, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Arkansas.
Yeah, and
I think that's probably at Tennessee.
And the thing that we have here is we have a really cool, great group of people that come to the area. We've had a lot of success attracting, and it's not just us, it's what St. Charles is. A lot of guests. It's women over the age of 50. It's really just warm and friendly people. It's families. It's not, people aren't coming here to party like that. I mean, some do, but that's just not what the intent is. This isn't where you go to go do that.
Yeah.
So our Airbnb nomenclature here is a lot different than you might see in maybe a densely populated, bachelor party town. It's just different. And we don't really have party issues. We have some listings in St. Louis. We fight them there. It's hard. It's a different
When you
world.
say party issues, you mean just like a destroyed house?
Yeah. They just and no host wants that. And that's part of when you talk about the politics of all this, any good host, the last thing they want is someone coming in and destroying their property.
Right.
It's a pain in the butt. You're dealing with maintenance and you're having to go chase a guest over it. Like it's a nightmare.
Now, I think people would be surprised to hear that, especially with the number of listings you have on Main Street, and especially because of the things that get said about Main Street, which I believe are mostly not true and mostly just people trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do, but there's this image of Main Street that it's like party central and that there's bars, there's nightlife. I mean, you're going to have some drunk people do some stupid things.
Yeah, you're going to have it, but
But no issue with...
we've maybe called the police once in 4 years.
Yeah.
On Main Street. It's not an issue.
Good.
That's just not the issue that people think it is, I think.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. Of course, there are probably some things that happen, maybe some things you don't know about or whatever, but as far as like property damage, people being hurt, I mean, it just doesn't happen.
Not like that. Not to that scale.
Yeah.
It's you're going to have things. We've had minor stuff, but it's always been people will apologize and they want to make it right and whatever.
Yeah.
It's just not a big deal.
All right, I want to talk because you mentioned other areas.
Mm-hmm.
And so when did that start happening? Did that happen with the lake? I know, obviously. Okay.
Yeah. I think that was my first out of market. I bought a house right at COVID hit at Lake of the Ozarks right before, which was a big scare at the moment because you're like, oh, crap, is all these.
Is anyone going to go anywhere ever again?
And then everyone went to the lake after that because the lake opened. So, so that quickly turned into buying a few more houses there and some partnerships and worked out really well. And then honestly, the real growth happened. I had a buddy who had a condo in Lafayette Square in St. Louis, and he didn't want to sell it. He was taking a job that moved him to Seattle, and he just didn't want to part with this awesome condo he's got. Yeah. And he'd love to do it on short-term rental, and I was just giving him advice, like what to do. And he's like, do you want to just do it? And manage it for me? I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll try that. And so we came up with a fee structure and said, sure. And it's been really successful.
This was before the lake or after?
This is after the lake. Okay. So, but it was what actually got us out because we were kind of St. Charles and then the lake, a little bit in St. Louis. And that was just me investing.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to do anything other than just continuing real estate investing. And when that happened, that was also happening simultaneously when I bought my second building on Main Street, which I bought for the intent of management, not just to, the gym building. And so I went into that building, 319 North Main, with the intent of making the two upstairs units short-term rental. So simultaneously, we were going to open a new market, or not new market, but we're going to open for someone else. We're going to manage for someone new. And we were now, how can we do this at a different scale? So bought a building that we could update. And then how do we support someone else who wants to do this? Mm-hmm. And so when that happened, the referral system of us being able to manage for other people is how we started going to other markets. So, Gatlinburg, Tennessee is directly from referral. Vegas that's referrals. Like Kansas City, it's all referral based. Yeah. So as you get out there, it's people sharing that we do that.
You have one is it Park City?
No, not yet.
No, okay. No. Did you go out there for like a scouting trip?
Yeah, that was just me going skiing.
Okay. I thought you were looking at something to buy out there or something.
That was just for fun. So,
okay.
Yeah. But
let's open one in Park City.
Let's go. That place is amazing.
It is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Really expensive.
It is. And you went skiing, so you were there in the winter?
Yeah.
I was only there in the summer, but I imagine it was
gorgeous.
Beautiful in the winter.
Oh, it's breathtaking.
So what's your favorite? Have you stayed in all of yours? Certainly you've been to them. You haven't stayed in all of them?
I haven't seen all of them yet. So we have a pretty good sized team now.
Yeah, you do. I was gonna broach that subject.
Yeah, we've got. It's a lot of. We don't hire LinkedIn and those things. It's all local people we know.
It's all friends of ours.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
We had a happy hour. Look around, like everybody here knows some connection.
Yeah.
Which speaks to culture and it speaks to what we have, which is really cool. That's my favorite part of all this. We have a really cool group of people, but I haven't gotten to go to everything yet because you can't.
Well, and it's booked.
Yeah,
which is good, right? You don't want to take a weekend for you if it's booked, and
you're certainly not going to do that if you're managing it for someone else.
So what's on the horizon, like location wise, outside of St. Charles? St. Charles.
We're opening Riverview, Kansas right now, which is a haunted city.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Wait, is this where is that?
Right outside Kansas City.
Because there's a college out there that's supposed to have some haunted stuff.
Yeah, this is I'm gonna suddenly can't remember her name. She grew up there, home. I think she was a pilot, if I remember right. Now all of a sudden I can't remember her name, but anyway.
Is it someone we're supposed to know?
Yeah, that's a name we all know.
Like Amelia Earhart?
Yes, that's her.
Okay,
exactly. It's Amelia Earhart's family home.
You remember when PJs was on? Weren't they talking about the college town being haunted? Where is that? Do you remember that, Angel, at all? We're buying time while he gets his mic on.
Yeah, I can't remember where that is.
Like a small Christian college in Kansas.
Oh, Riverview, Kansas. It's about 45 minutes north of Kansas City.
It's really out there, but I can't remember the name of the town.
Okay.
For sure.
Let's pause here. I want to talk to you about some stuff Local 636 has going on. Hope you made it out to 636 Day. We've got the recap video done by yours truly, Angel and Manny, which is awesome. So that's up now. You can watch it with envy and make sure to mark your calendars for next year. Actually, we don't have a date. Next year's 636 Day, June 3rd, is on a Monday. And so we're going to have to come up with either the weekend before or the weekend after to have 636 Day. But circle both of those weekends. Just block them off for right now. Of course, follow us on all of our socials. Everything is at Local 636. Please subscribe to the podcast down here. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can get notifications of the newest episodes and newest videos and clips that we have coming out. Shop Local 636 at local636.com. Got all your favorite St. Charles gear, including our famous Local 636 Katy Trail shirt here. We're adding new stuff all the time, so make sure and check that out.
So Riverview, Kansas is Amelia Earhart's home, and my understanding is it's a haunted town, but I don't know much to that.
Is there a lot there? Is it like a tourist attraction because she's from there?
There's some tourism to it.
Okay.
But it's, to my understanding, the data that I've found on it was driven by the haunted components of it. So
you've got like the ghost seekers and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess we get some of those on Maine. They have the ghost tours and stuff.
We do. We absolutely do.
Give me a more fun location of coming next other than Riverview, Kansas.
Our friend Jake Lipinski introduced me to a gal who's got a home in Big Bear, California.
Oh, cool.
So we'll be opening that August 1st, which is really exciting. Gatlinburg, Tennessee, obviously, is really exciting. We just
returned from vacation there and had never been. We weren't in Gatlinburg proper, but we were in this town called Sevierville. We took an RV.
There's one there.
So
we have one there too.
Oh, do you really? In Gatlinburg and Sevierville?
And Pigeon Forge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys go down there?
I haven't been since I was a kid, actually.
Okay.
So
it's really pretty. I think I always kind of discounted it because it's in the Midwest, kind of. I mean, I guess it's like the Southeast, but, because it's a bordering state. but the Smoky Mountains are beautiful, man.
Absolutely.
I've always gone west. We've always gone to the Rockies.
Yeah.
And even further to the whatever mountain ranges in Washington. Is that still the Rockies? Why do I feel like an
Extension
idiot right
of it,
now?
maybe. Yeah.
Is that the Rockies still?
The Rockies, yeah, it
In
is.
Washington State, that's still the Rockies?
Yes. And then
Okay.
down south is the Sierra Nevada or
Okay.
something like
I
that.
haven't been there. But anyway, the Smokies are great. So I imagine those do really well. So you've got 3 down there. You'll have 3?
4, about to have 5.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so.
Does it matter? Does location matter? Like proximity to St. Louis? I mean, obviously those are a little bit closer. Does that matter to you at all? Or if it's a deal and it makes sense, then you're going to do it?
So I'm really into the analytics. So I pay for a lot of software. And so what we do is we actually pull it all the way back and go, where are the markets to go to? Where are regulations friendly? Where is their demand? And then when we go to the demand, you isolate what is needed. So, there's a lot of data available to us.
Okay.
And so I actually work a little differently from that, and you focus in on where is somewhere to go, target it, and then when you go there, you know exactly what you want. So if you're going to Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, make sure that you get a 3-bed, 2-bath, make sure it's around Cortez Lake or Lake Cortez or DeSoto. Those are where the market demand is. And so when you go there, specifically target that and mimic the 12 listings that are doing it right.
See, I'm thinking with my heart and going, oh, let's go somewhere cool.
Yeah.
You're thinking of it from a business perspective because you have to go where it makes sense.
I want to be in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But it's terrible economics.
Is it really?
Right now, yes.
Is
and
there
the
just too
restrictions
much
are unbelievable.
supply?
Yeah, very, very restrictive.
Okay.
And so even to get there and then to buy anything in Hawaii, 2, 3, 4, 5 million,
Sure.
it's really hard to make those economics make sense.
Okay.
Whereas you can come to a local smaller market and buy a $500,000 home and do $100,000 a year in revenue. And that's much more obtainable.
Any thoughts of going international?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Canada, Mexico, or Europe, Puerto Rico? Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's on the horizon.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Very
for sure.
cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned this earlier about the city of St. Charles kind of taking some regulations that were in place in other places and, taking maybe what they liked from there.
Yeah.
Would you say that the city of St. Charles regulations are kind of in line with the rest of the country? Is it so all over the place? Are they more restrictive? Are they more liberal?
Yeah. My opinion, they were slow to the game, and then they went over restrictive. Okay. So that's what Nashville did.
Always happens with everything.
Yeah, it's exactly what Nashville did. It actually put a harm to their real estate market when that happened. So Boston did the same thing. Some other markets have done that. There's other markets that I thought, in my opinion, I love. They do a map overlay system, and a map overlay gives you different designations, and these designations say, short-term rentals are welcomed here. They're welcomed here with, admin level permit. They're welcomed here in a different category because you can do them, but it's got to be a home share. You have to live there. You can do them with certain buffers, or you cannot have them at all, just like an HOA would restrict it. So map overlays seem to be the best fit that I've seen, and they are really encouraging because you want to allow short-term rentals in some capacity because it can be very good. You can find people like me who will buy a drug den in the local neighborhood and do something with it, but you also do have an overabundance of them, and they'll take it away. You and I are both, married with kids living in, this residential neighborhood, and I want it to be overran with short-term rentals. I want to know some of my neighbors. Yeah. I like that 4th of July, got to see all of our friends, and we're all local to each other. I like that. Yeah. So it's not like I want this either, but there is some level of encouragement you want. And so with an overlay system, you can basically designate where do you want an investor to come. It doesn't have to go to that local residential neighborhood and overtake it. It can be controlled.
Yeah. Interesting. I like, I feel like I've talked about this before, but it's kind of the same thing with businesses with that mixed use. We've had where I live, although not in Frenchtown, it is in kind of a mixed use area. And we had people complain about a certain business that opened up close. And it's like, yeah, you live on a street that has mixed use. I mean, not that, I get it that a homeowner wants what they want or whatever, but, you kind of have to look at where you live and go, well, yeah, this is kind of what it is. I mean, I chose to live in this area.
You did. And you also have the opportunity to buy and invest. Yeah. Like if you care about it, you can do something about it.
Yeah.
Not that everyone has to be an investor, but it's hard to complain about something where someone else is putting their money into it.
Well, and especially I mean, with a lot of the projects that you've done, I've seen them. You're improving the buildings. You're improving, and then what that does is, of course, this is the phrase that Angel likes when Angel Magasano was on. Rising tide raises all boats.
Yep.
Right. So if you raise the property value of this house, that's going to raise the property value of the next house.
Absolutely.
And so,
I've had people complain that I was raising their property taxes too much.
I love that. I love that. I mean,
okay.
I hear that all the time, and people don't make the connection that, yes, it raises your property taxes, which means your property value is up.
Well, and it's also likely contributing, especially in a commercial building, means that there's likely a higher demand for that. The economics that are coming to you.
Yeah, it's such a closed way of thinking to say that these businesses coming in here, whether it's a restaurant, an Airbnb, or whatever, I don't like them because they're raising my property taxes.
Yeah. It's just regressive thinking.
It is.
We've been buying a lot on Main Street, and Main Street is unique. I mean, I haven't lived everywhere or anything like that, but to me, it's pretty unique. And we have beautiful historic structures. There is sort of this feeling like you're a bit of a gatekeeper in the sense that you get to choose who can come to your street, which is nice because you get to kind of pick your commercial tenants.
You get to curate.
You do, which is exciting. And you get to save historic buildings, which I'm romantic about.
Yeah.
I love historic buildings. I bought Larry Minch's building on 700 South Main. It's the original Missouri governor's home. And the original Customs House, the 701. It's one of the oldest structures still here. The cornerstone was here when Lewis and Clark started their expedition. It's really cool.
Yeah.
If you're into it. I am. And I love saving these historic buildings. It's special. And short-term rentals gives it an economic value. There is no real value to buy $1 million building and put $200,000 into it, and you're getting very nominal rents.
Yeah.
But short-term rentals with a destination downstairs gives it an economic value. And there's a reason to go in here and do this. And so I've maybe been a little aggressive about buying certain buildings. There's buildings that I care about, but also there's the part of this where it's relationship based. And so this is a small enough town. You can't go torch anything. And so part of handling these things well and communicating well with people and having a long-term plan with them, I think gives it a sustainability, keeps us as a part of the community. And the economics are there with the short-term rentals. Yes, absolutely. And as an investor and a local person to the community, I want the best outcome. But I also want to make some money as an investor.
Sure.
That's the reason for even doing it. And it is cool to watch our buildings transform. We bought some stuff was in bad shape. And you wouldn't have lived there. You wouldn't have sent your friends there.
Right.
And now to make it a place where it's like, this is awesome. And it's going to be around another 100 years beyond both of our lives. It's really cool.
What's your favorite property? Let's stick within St. Charles City. What's your favorite property that you've redone, or based on? It can be based on the income potential, how it looks.
Sure.
Working on it. What was your favorite one?
Well, I'm really excited about two that aren't done.
Okay.
So 125 North Main is the general store. It was general store.
Okay.
Well, that's 340. So that was the other one.
Okay.
So 340 and 125. So 125 North Main, it was Panera at one point, was Bobby's Place, and was the general store.
It was not Panera. It was the St. Louis Bread Co.
Sorry, you're right. Sorry. You got me on that one. For sure. And now Fig and Sparrow's moved location there. Alibi Cookie and Lee Klein, and then upstairs we're putting in a large number of short-term rentals, as many as the city's going to let us. But we have a huge space for it, a massive parking lot for it, and the building was built in 1986. It was a tear down, so it's not historically significant.
That's my secret parking space back there. So I guess I'm going to lose that.
Not secret anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spaces. I think 21 spaces back there. So, but the building actually has the components to make it look historic. And so it's going to be fun how we finish it, because it's going to really blend with the street really well, even though it's a 1986.
Yeah, very cool.
So really exciting. It was commercial upstairs, CPAs and photographers up there. And now we get to kind of have some fun with that. And then 340, which is the old Telanius, was originally a 3-story. There was a 3rd story on it above Tornado, I think is what took it out, but right next to Adams. Which to me, that's one of the landmarks as you come down Main Street, is that building, and we're still trying to figure out who the right tenant's going to be yet. We don't know yet, but we have I think a great opportunity there And then upstairs, short-term rental, of course. But I think that building is a bit of an anchor as you come down Main.
Definitely is.
To make it beautiful again.
You think keeping it a restaurant is the most likely thing?
It certainly is plug and play. It would make sense for a tenant to come in and do that. We have the hood system and everything's in there. So we've talked to a number of potential tenants, but you got to find the right fit. Sure. It's got to be something that wants to be here, is sustainable, contributes to the street.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of having maybe a regional chain or maybe a local, single slot. Just like what we did with Sabre, like an amazing couple run that.
Mm-hmm.
They're perfect for the street. They're local. They're literally perfect. Like they're the best fit. And you move out a tenant and you move in them and you're like, they're going to be good. They're going to contribute. They're going to be a part of this. That's what you want. And I don't want the dollar long necks. I want the places where people want to go. I'm married with 3 kids. My youngest is 3, right? I want to go to brunch with my wife on Main Street and feel good about it. And if I want to go have a drink with, my buddy Ed, I want to go somewhere where it's not insane to be there.
Yeah.
I want to hear you.
Yeah.
And I want those kind of places too. And I that seems to be what others want as well on the street. But you're right about the reputation. There's all this belief that Main Street is doing this or doing that. Nobody wants that. It's just not, the drive isn't there.
Yeah, Main Street's very divided, and we don't have to get into that. But it's kind of nuts when you hear kind of both sides, and you know which side I'm on, which is the side that you're on, and it's kind of hard to make sense of it. But the North End gets a bad rap.
Yeah, we're treated like we're not. I don't know. I want more retail on North Main.
Sure.
I want it to connect more with South Main. I want there to be true historic preservation on the street. On the North End, it's treated like I don't know. It's just not the same. And now South Main is eclectic and beautiful and charming and cute, and they both have their same purpose. But I want more the restaurant and bar, the wine cafe, and Larry Mensch's cigar. He just sold it to Lit. And
I saw that.
And they're opening up there. We're gonna have a nice little patio for them at some point. They're great vibes, and they're going to close down early, and they're going to be a good fit.
Right.
But we don't need 13 different ice cream shops. Like, you have a few good ones.
Sure.
And like, how do we find that blend where they all work together? And we need more retail on North Main.
I think so too. Retail is maybe not as exciting as a new restaurant or a new bar.
No.
But you need a reason for people to come down and stay.
Exactly.
And we need that in Frenchtown too.
We've
got some great restaurants, but we need some retail. We need a reason for people to come down and shop.
Yeah, well, we need to connect the Frenchtown more with North Main.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
It is, but and hopefully we can get there.
Yeah.
But we've invested in Frenchtown as well, and I love Frenchtown. It's super cool, and that gets to be our artsy and trendy and really cool space. Like, I love it, and you need that. You can't have everything be one. You have to have each demographic has to be served.
Yeah, Frenchtown's coming back. I've been saying it for years.
Yes, it is.
We're closer than ever.
I agree.
A lot with your help.
Well, a lot with your help. This local 636 stuff is really cool. That your event,
thanks.
That's really cool. And that you need to give reasons for people to come here. You have the boxing event in the middle of the street. You need to have these things where
hot summer nights.
Yeah, it's so cool.
They're doing so much down there. I think Mayor Dan really has a good vision for it. And,
I agree with that.
Yeah. And we need people to come down there, because when people come down there for 636 Day or for whatever other event, the idea with that, and not to be, I like throwing a good party and we do well at the event or whatever. But part of it is I do want people to come down there to maybe say, oh, look at this building. Maybe I'll buy this, or maybe I could put this in here. My friend has this store that maybe can go in there. I want people to come down there and see what it is and what's going on.
Well, and just now we have those murals showing up. Like, those are so awesome.
6 more next year too.
And that is what fits into this. Just keep that going and keep more people seeing that. And get us more included into it. Yeah. It's awesome.
Love it.
I love it.
Why don't you drop your socials, where people can find you, where they can go to rent?
Yes, www.staylage.com. If you go to book anything in the month of August, if you enter discount code 636 at discount, 10% off whenever you
look at that. And is that in St. Charles, or is that going to be everywhere?
Anywhere
if they want to go to Vegas or okay. That Hawaii Airbnb?
Not yet. Get me next year, hopefully.
Next year we're going to be in Hawaii?
I hope so.
Podcast from Hawaii next year.
I want it so
You ready?
bad.
We can work out how you've got some sort of marketing budget, right? We'll go down there. We'll do a live podcast.
I turn 40 in November. That's all I want to do is hike and Kauai. That's all I want.
40 in November. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
Let's do it. Have you got it planned?
I think we're doing it in March now because of Steph's school schedule.
It's March. Okay. That's good because I'll be on vacation in November. So
let's do it.
Won't be able to make it, but I can go in March.
Let's do it.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks, man.
First 2-time guest.
Hey, I love it. Thank you.
Thanks,
what an
bud.
honor.